Welcome to the first ever episode of Grain podcast. I am your host, Big Kunta, and I am honored to be next to my good buddy James, aka Headhunter James.
It's a pleasure.
We are here to bring the heat and the laughs and everything else in between. So, we are excited, man. It's a
big day.
Yeah, this is something I think I've been planning for about 3 years, and COVID has just basically metaphorically put a gun to my head and it's like, boom, do it. It's time.
Yep.
So, yeah, we have some big plans with this podcast. We hope, and for what it's worth, that we actually reach people. We want people to listen. We want people to gain some perspective, because at the end of the day, if there's anything I think that this quarantine has kind of like taught us, is that we, sometimes we got to stop. We got to stop and listen to people. We got to stop and listen to the chaos that's going on in our own worlds, in our heads, within our families. It was good. Like, how was it? What's it been like for you, Jay?
I mean, yeah, more than anything, it's shown the importance of figuring out ways to still like connect to and reach people, even when everything is more or less turned upside down.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. It's just like anything. You get up, you grind, you work, you bust your ass all day, trying to either make ends meet or just continue, your hustle, whatever it is, whatever your craft is, and some of us have children, that's a whole different ball game for a lot of people. But
right, being stuck at home with those kids,
yeah,
all day, every day.
Yeah, it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. It's like at the end of the day, it's like somebody just end it right now. I'm ready. Right. But no, so some of the things I think we want to get across here, in this project, we want to talk about a lot of things I feel like that are very personal, especially things that are like not necessarily involving, a certain type of, person, whether you're African American, you're a white guy, you're Caucasian, Asian, mixed like myself, Korean, Bahamian, things hit us differently. And I think the beauty of of my circle of friends, I think, is that we are usually pretty open and pretty accepting. I think those are two important things in any kind of relationship. But I mean, James is probably the polar opposite.
Just about.
Like literally, this guy couldn't fucking be any more different. Mm-hmm. But a few drinks in, a few engagements, not entanglements. A few, just, you learn things about people, especially when there's some vulnerability involved. And, I'm not saying like everyone deserves that opportunity or time, but, you get to really learn about people when everyone's kind of going through the mud a little bit, Yeah. It's like my time in the Army, it's really terrible getting up early. It's really terrible, when it's negative, X degrees outside, and it's, but everyone's sucking together. Everyone's literally breathing that same bullshit in.
Yep.
The same air that's going in, coming out. Everyone's got somebody at home. Most of us have somebody at home, and it's a lot of shit. We'll get through this together.
Yeah.
So.
And it's incredible the sort of things that you can learn when you actually listen to what other people have to say.
Absolutely. So, like I said, the project in itself is pretty much, things that we've all gone through in life, things that we've all experienced, things we see on TV. I mean, the current state of affairs in the world right now is just absolutely atrocious. Like, it's
completely fucked.
It is so bad, but not just bad. It's like, people are literally defending, civil rights, like things that, I mean, I have guys that are on the very, conservative side of things, especially some of my military friends, and heck, you know, that's the point. That's the point of why we serve, right? We serve for everyone to have that freedom to, you know, pick and choose what they think is important to them, pick and choose what they feel is, you know, best for their family and whatever. But at the end of the day, we all have to respect each other. And it's kind of what I remember growing up, especially when 9/11 happened. I think I was in 7th grade or 8th grade. I can't remember exactly.
Middle school somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. And so it was very odd seeing, you know, 2 planes crash into a building, but at the same time, couldn't fathom, you know, terrorism at that age. Even if I kind of had an idea
You could
that
the next day.
Well,
it's a lot easier to fathom.
yeah, you know, and it was, I think one of our, you know, teachers was, I think she was like from Pakistan or somewhere, and she just never returned, you know, and I had some friends that were in her classroom, and they told us about it. So yeah, it was a lot of chaos, and, you know, but it was a time where everybody, you remember those little flags, those little American flags?
Uh-huh.
Everyone had one of those.
Everyone.
Fucking, like, on your car, on your whatever. Like some cars, it was like a freaking competition. Like, I'm gonna have 65 flags hanging on my goddamn.
You can't allow there to be a flag gap.
Pontiac, you know, Grand Am or whatever. And so, I remember, but like the funny thing was, if you were walking into a store and you were going, I don't know, into like a Publix or a grocery store or whatever, and, you know, there was a black guy in front of you or a white guy in front of you, whatever. Like no one really saw color at the time, right? It was a very unique time period where everybody would hold the door open, and it was just so pleasant in a time of such turmoil. You know?
Everything changed. If someone holds the door open for me now, I'm going to stand there with my mask on until they stop holding the door open for me, because they're not supposed to get within a couple feet.
That's exactly right. You know,
weird.
And a lot of those people are offended because they think that
I'm not trying to be a dick.
Making a nice gesture, but
they were
right. That's exactly what we're trying to bridge. We're trying to bridge the gap. We're trying to bring things together as far as perspective. I think that a lot of, I don't know, like, I think a lot of people just are tired. I think everybody's managing their stressors differently. You know, some people, you know, outer exterior, they're kind of like, oh yeah, like I'm, you know, this is it. Like, you know, I'm good. Like, this is my moment. Like, you know, I don't follow the news media. I don't follow the news outlet because it's all a bunch of lies. All the numbers are skewed. But, you know, it really doesn't matter which side you come from. There's always going to be somebody who has numbers from some source. Of course. Know? And it's
you can use numbers to prove anything.
Well, attempt to prove anything, but you know, whether it is effective, you know, to the individual or the whatever occasion you're presenting those numbers, it, you know, it doesn't fucking matter sometimes. But
nothing matters. But
right.
So before we get a little, you know, too far down the rabbit hole, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I am a South Korean and Bahamian, and I believe there is some Cherokee Indian in there. I'm a multi-hybrid individual. Mother, beautiful mother. She passed away about 10 years ago this November, I think. And she was definitely the quintessential hardworking, stay at home, take care of everything at home mother. And then you know, my dad was the guy just working and grinding and hustling, and you know, he's a Vietnam vet, and you know, he's pretty much the epitome of get up, go to work, and take care of your family. So those are two very crucial things, you know, as far as having a loving, hardworking mother who, you know, did everything she could, you know, to support her boys, my brother and I.
Absolutely. I would have loved to have met her.
Yeah. Literally everybody says that because, you know, I mean, it's not just a nice thing to say, but people say that because it's the way that I take how, you know, a lot of my interactions and whatnot, I attribute it to my mother. She was literally like the funniest person that her friends met, you know, so I would remember hearing that as a kid, which is really funny because, you know, not everybody laughs at me. or people laugh at
a lot of them laugh at you.
Correct. Yeah, but fuck it, whatever.
Only when they see your dick.
Hey. But yeah. So I mean, you know, it's pretty much growing up in Hollandale, Florida. You know, there's a lot of Jews, and then there's the hood. Not too many people are familiar with the hood, but those of you that know, y'all know Foster Road. I grew up on 8th Avenue, a little bit south of Helena Beach Boulevard, but nonetheless, there is a side of me that, you know, a lot of people, especially now, they don't realize, they can't even fathom the fact that I had gold teeth and, you know, just completely negligent and reckless, like a straight up like just a piece of shit delinquent, like garbage, hot trash, throw the whole fucking human away, piece of shit, trash.
Just, you know, we all have to start somewhere.
Just like trash, you know. But I mean, yeah, my mother saved me. My mother is literally the person who everyone loved and adored, you know. And my dad's funny too. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, my dad is pretty much me. I am him, I should say. But you know, what about you, Jay?
Well, like you said earlier, more or less the polar opposite. So I'm half Irish, half Italian. Originally from Western New York. Family moved down here to Cooper City when I was in elementary school, and yeah, I grew up in the basically the lily white
Cooper City.
Cooper City.
That was Cooper City was a fucking joke to me when I was growing up.
I mean, it more or less still is.
Well, you know, I mean, it's not a joke because like literally
it's
everybody I hang out with now. Well,
that's at least what they say on all their signs because that's the city motto.
All right,
that's how white they are.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
I will give it to you. But
yeah, so
I mean,
yeah, we what is it? We started. We became close.
I feel like that's I feel like that's the intro
really?
for like most fucking white people. Like it's just.
Well, yeah.
It's just like, hey, I'm fucking Bob, and we just
used car dealer from Dallas.
We ended up here. We're here.
Yeah.
So I've been here.
Started up here. Now we're here.
I have a lot of people here, and so yeah. But it's very nice to meet you, and blah 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 blah, and
yeah,
that's pretty much like the fucking. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding. Yeah. So race relations, they're really, man. You know, I try to explain this concept to people, especially my white friends who are willing to listen. There's a few of them, believe it or not. There's a few of them, and the private messages, you know, or the one-on-one, you know, conversations and calls. They're interesting because I get 100%. Dude, I don't fucking get it. Like, what do you guys need? You know, right? And I'm like, what do you mean? What do we need? And you know, or like, how can we help?
What do you mean we?
You know, yeah, you know, and it's like, oh, well, this is the issue, or this is, I don't see the problem with this, you know.
Is it exhausting to be the dude who has to answer that question for everyone?
Honestly, it's exhausting, you know. For those of you that don't know what I look like, I look probably more Mexican and Filipino. I get that probably the most.
Yeah, if we were in LA, everyone would assume you were Mexican.
But I'm 6'2", 265 pounds. I look like fucking Nacho Libre's, you know, big ass cousin, you know, Oscar.
Oscar Libre, yeah.
But then I have their little, you know, bad choice tribal tattoo, which, you know, I was young, so whatever. And the shit was free. The guy was like, you know, fucking, hey, bro, I'm practicing, and like, I wish I had my brain now, because I would have been like, dude, absolutely not. Show me something.
Right.
But free was like.
Free was
a very powerful word,
yeah,
when you're, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old. So whatever.
Yeah.
I just accept it, you know, because
it's funny because it's normally the dumbass white kids who have the terrible tribal tattoos.
Oh. You know, I mean, yeah, I get it. But so race relations, man, yeah, it's a very sticky topic. I think a lot of people a lot of people, you know, they get very comfortable in their arena. They get comfortable in their sectors, especially if shit, you know, if things don't apply to you, they don't apply to you. Like, I don't really know like another way to explain that concept, but it shouldn't negate the fact that you should be, you know, slightly bothered or a little worried that things are not the same for other people, you know. But then that becomes the battle within itself. Like, oh, well, tell me how, you know, a black man or woman isn't free in today's society, you know. And
I mean, there are a lot of ways.
Well, that's the point of the show, man. That's what
systemic poverty, you know, maybe a little bit. Access to healthcare. Yeah, it's
absolutely. I mean, I get it, and I think that
but not everyone does is the problem.
This is true, you know, and everyone's gonna have an opinion. You know, everyone will have an opinion. Everyone will have some kind of you know, bullshit excuse. That's the best way I can put it. To either just bury it and, you know, never plan to revisit because it just doesn't really affect them or their day to day.
Well, and it's like, it's unfortunate that it took the like weird ass world that we currently live in to pull this into like the mainstream discussion every day.
Right.
But at least it happened. Like, literally a year ago last month, the biggest news story was how fucking terrible the live action Cats movie was.
Yeah.
And
that's gonna be breaking news.
Yeah. That's the pretty much the furthest thing from anybody's mind right now, because there's like a million crises going on all at once.
Right.
But at least people are more cognizant of it now, and at least it's being talked about.
Yeah, for sure. I think if anything, it's definitely something that, God, even if it's like the whole Juneteenth thing, like, I try to explain to people, you know, I've had some one-on-one conversations. I'm like, dude, like, you know, this is like shit I've like been told or you know, I learned this like in middle school or like, you know,
because it's part of your culture.
It is.
And it's not taught in schools.
And like social media, people forget like every fucking day, like every post, you forgot that the internet is a thing now. Like you forget, right? It's like you get so comfortable doing the damn thing. You don't have like this, you know, focus. Like, don't forget, you know, where you come from. Don't forget that there was an internet. Don't forget that, you know, for you to experience and have real life emotion and connection with somebody, you have to fucking talk to them. Yeah. It's not going to just, it will appear. You know, I take it back. It's going to appear now. It's going to appear on TV. It's going to appear on your Facebook article. It's going to appear on your Occupy Democrats or your RNC page or wherever the hell it's coming from. It's coming from some source. And nowadays, sources more focused on speed than it is content or, you know, whether or not the information is even accurate. Like it just, you know, I think I forgot
more about page views than accuracy.
Yeah, clicks, page views,
ad revenue,
you know, whatever. And I listen. There's no perfect person. I don't have it figured out. I only ever really try to come from a place of real life experience, and I think that most of us who have made that decision within our own brains and our hearts and our minds, I think we realize that, like, dog, I don't have time to play anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I have 3 children now, and it's like, as exhausting as that is, the last thing I want to do is ever be, like, superficial or not authentic to them.
Absolutely.
You know? Because they're going to pick up on my good traits, my bad traits. They're going to pick up on things that I think genetically just gets passed down to them, like, dad likes eating too many goddamn hot Cheetos or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like, you know, I can only we can only manage what we process every day. We can only manage the things that we like choose to focus on. And, you know, it sounds ridiculous, like, but
you can only do so much. Like,
well, you can, correct, but
like, you can't read every single thing that comes in front of you. You just can't.
Well,
you'll go crazy.
You can't. I mean, you can read it, but you can't process or run with it. Right. You know, I mean, I think that's what you're trying to say. But I mean, either way, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of. I think there's a lot of people that are just tired. They're exhausted. I honestly, like, not a fan of Donald Trump at all. Listen, call it how you see it. I just don't like the guy. It's never been a problem to really disagree or not like someone before. Now people want to murder you. Like, don't fucking deflect my shit just because I don't like Donald Trump. It doesn't mean I am enthusiastic about Joe Biden. Like, get off my shit. Like, people are just assholes. Like, the whole point. Okay, I literally did not like Donald Trump since Home Alone 2. Like, since New York. Like,
I mean, even fucking New York doesn't like Donald Trump.
I mean, let's be real. Let's be real. Like, I'm. You don't have to know somebody so personally, so well, to just not like the way they make decisions or the way their mannerisms or whatever. Like, and it's not super personal. It's not like, oh my god, this guy's a bad human.
I mean, he kind of is.
Everything he does is in bad taste. Everything, and there's no care. But let's not upset the people that care about the greater good or the so-called greater good, right? Because that's the kind of bullshit that they run with. Like, everything is a deflection, like, well, it's Obama's fault, and it's
thanks Obama.
Fault. It's so-and-so's fault, or whatever. But at the end of the day, listen, man, like, you got to take some responsibility in your own shit. Just like the people who, there's a shit ton of people that want, welfare recipients to get drug tested. You know what I mean? Like,
which is
shit ton of people.
Literally the stupidest fucking thing I've heard of in my entire life.
It's very stupid.
Whatever.
But there's people that want to blame a black guy for not having opportunities because he doesn't work as hard.
Right.
Right. So those are all points that they like to throw out, but it's nobody ever really wants to eat their own shit, and when they're messing up or they're being hypocritical or and if they kind of feel like they might see that, they just deflect it to something else, and it's just like whitewash. It's just water under the bridge, and basically that is the constant. That's the constant of how everything is ran right now, and it sucks, man. There's no longer an agree to disagree in a manner that is just like, yeah, who cares, bro? Let's just have a beer about it and talk about how bad both of our AFC's teams suck.
Right? Because hey, man,
I don't know why there's so many.
This is our year.
Fucking Jets fans and Patriots fans down here, but we full. Get out. We're too much over here. We don't. Yeah. We have enough shitty Dolphin fans, So.
Well, pretty much all of them.
I'll say it. I'll say it. I'm not scared. But,
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the exact reason that I know for a fact we won't have an NFL season this year is just how bad the Patriots look.
Yeah.
So that pretty much means, guarantee there won't be football.
I mean, the Tampa Bay Patriots look kind of decent.
Assuming that it,
and they just signed Shady.
Do they have like team equipment wheelchairs for their starters?
I mean,
because they're old as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, they are. They're up there in age. I think Shady is in still relative good shape. Like, the guy's still. What was this? What was his stats last year? I think
he had a surprisingly good year last year. I think he had like 20 touchdowns.
Okay.
He didn't have a lot in the way of yards because he wasn't really like. I mean, Kansas City wasn't doing workhorse back stuff.
Right.
He had a lot of touchdowns. The year before he did pretty poorly, but he was injured for most of that year. I think it was more the injury stuff than like him falling off a cliff. But he is on the wrong side of 30 for a running back. So,
his knees are on the wrong side of every age at this point. I mean, his knees are. I think he's battled injury.
Yeah,
literally since the year he was drafted. But
between him and Gronk and Brady, I'm pretty sure we have at least like 6 different artificial joints.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was having this conversation the other day, and I was basically saying the NBA is doing the best job.
They are.
I mean, literally the best job at combating this whole COVID thing. It's like I mean, the dudes are a little reckless in there,
But like
they're supposedly healthy and not compromised. So
yeah, and the one guy who went outside the bubble, he's suspended for like 10 games, right?
Yeah, it's Lou Williams.
Or sorry, 10 days, which is 2 games.
Listen, okay. So the article said that his exact words were he popped in and out, and I mean,
in and out.
I've popped in and out of some strip clubs in my day. Now, how long you're in there?
Well, and he gave the classic answer of he went there for the food. So
well, that is literally the best answer.
Sure,
because
of course,
as my boy Black Eddie and I as we would agree, you know, we've hit up a lot.
I'm sorry, do you mean Darius Rucker?
Yeah, absolutely, Darius Rucker. Like we wagon wheel, bro. He's like, bro. So me and him, we have had an immaculate run at like pre-gaming, pulling up to a Goldfingers or a Vegas or somewhere and getting the wings. Like wings are notoriously, I mean, this is for the white people that don't understand why a lot of black people go to strip clubs outside of the booty. I mean, that's obviously why you go.
That's the obvious.
Outside of that, the number one reason, and more times than not, is that motherfucking buffet, that wing special, that hot, bro. Like, listen, it is literally the best.
I'm sorry,
it's the best food.
The hot buffet is not still just a euphemism for the booty?
I mean, you should be eating like his groceries, but hey, but at the end of the day, it's really, you know, it's not a game. It's like the guy would cook me up. This one guy that was just taking care of me, like he was I think they had like a 12-ounce New York strip.
Okay.
And I think like 5 chicken wings and like rice or broccoli, whatever your side was. It was like $10.99. And I'm like, bro, there's no way in hell I'm going to go to goddamn J. Alexander's or something like that, which ain't even fucking open at this ungodly hour.
It'd be $40.
Bro, you take your plate, you know, you don't get too close to the strippers because that's fucking just unsanitary as fuck, right? So you take
unhygienic.
You take your goddamn plate and you marvel in what is literally the best thing that's probably happened in your life up to this point, and you just fucking indulge, right? You just indulge in quality ass food that
ass.
The guy who just went to like Le Cordon Bleu, he's like mad hype about his like chef skills, and he comes out and he taps you, bro. It's like 5-star service. Like, why the fuck would I go anywhere else if I could just get treated like royalty at Vegas Cabaret and get a lap dance, or just view the treasure from afar?
There you go.
Sit there and like, you know. But Lou Williams, man, I can't be mad at the guy. He's just, but rules are rules, right?
They are.
You gotta follow the rules.
They are, and I cannot imagine that the dancers were wearing masks.
I mean, Houston has a drive-through strip club, I think.
How does that work?
It's like they took a fucking old car wash, and I gotta look it up.
Car wash I can see is a strip club. I don't know about drive-through.
Like, the girls are on the side, and there's like a railing, and you're like, you have to throw X amount of money down.
Sure.
And you are supposed to like stay within your allocated time. So I think there's like, you get like 2 or 3 minutes per like car roll up, and you have to drop like $50 or $100 or some shit like that. But hey man, desperate times,
right?
Calls for desperate measures.
Fucking wild.
I am a true believer in get it how you live, work for your shit, do whatever you need to do to survive, hustle hard, don't quit, and don't let anybody dictate, you know, what they think is good or bad for you.
Yeah, because fuck them. They don't have your best interest at heart.
I mean, even if they think they do, you know what I'm saying? Take it with a grain of salt. Do your shit.
Yeah.
Take care of your business. But, I mean, the NBA, they are, like I said, they're doing it right. And I think the NBA and possibly hockey may have this managed the best, but
yeah,
no bubble, no sports, baby. I said it. I'm gonna say it again. No bubble, no sports. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Even if you take college, right, and you say let's do conference.
Yeah, there's just no way you can do it.
Too many. They're fucking kids, but they're kids. They're like trying to get their dicks. Like there's too much going on. Like
not that the other players aren't, but
but college, it's. And then losing a whole year, that's super detrimental.
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, no, it seems like the perfect comparison is just, looking at how well everything's going for the NBA and for hockey, and then looking at the fucking dumpster fire that is the MLB right now. They've already literally canceled 12% of the games that they scheduled.
Just trash.
There's no way.
Just
there's no
trash.
way. It's gonna get shut down.
And then not just that, but people are I don't even know all the positions and the coaching jobs and parts there are, but it's the left field, grass sweep coach. That guy's got it. He's got him and his dog got it. So fucking. We got to shut shit down now. So, how about Aaron Judge knocking that fucking ball, decapitating,
killing the virtual fan?
No, I think it's a cardboard cutout.
Oh, is it cardboard? That's hilarious.
I was like, oh my god, we just needed a lady there on her phone.
I mean, that's what anyone does at a baseball game, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like sports are going to get canceled, but it's probably the best call, I mean,
on the other hand, the first basketball games and baseball games and hockey games all shattered viewership records. Everyone's at home, unable to do anything, and everyone has been waiting for any kind of live sports to watch.
I'll be honest. I posted how, I got real smacked, and I was like, yo, this is amazing. It was the first Heat game, I think it was, but
yeah,
they had their official jerseys on. They had, their makeshift home court advantage logos on the, the little area they're playing, whatever court they're on at the bubble. And I just was like, man, this is I was just sitting there, I was like, damn, work all day.
Yeah.
You hustle and you sit down, you know what I'm saying? You eat dinner, you're with your kids, whatever. And it's this shit is really, really super helpful. For one's day to day and their sanity.
It is very clearly something that we took for granted in the past. And we were anyone who watches sports was going at least a little bit insane. They literally had, I think it was Joe Buck doing commentary for marble racing.
Oh.
So, we needed sports back.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think that a lot of people even if you don't watch sports, you're just shit. I remember I'm watching and Meg's sitting there and she's like, well, there's really nothing on TV. So what are you watching? And I'm just like, man, I don't know, but this beachfront bargain home's been hitting. That shit's been hitting. I'm like, baby, we gonna have this one day, all right? So just bear with me. We're gonna have this one day.
That is one of the saddest things I've heard.
Listen, bro. I mean, growing up in South Florida is crazy because we live right here, right now. We are approximately 20 max, 15, I would say, 15 minutes west of the ocean, of the Atlantic, right here in South Florida.
Yeah.
So I would say we go to the beach never.
Pretty much.
I grew up for about 12, 13 years east of 95, probably 10 minutes from the ocean, and I think we would just go very sparingly. I mean, it just...
Yeah, I mean, when it's always there.
It's just always here. But I mean, leaving, going other places, traveling, being in the military... I was like, yo, these, y'all beaches suck. This shit is disgusting. The West Coast, if you're from the East Coast, you're like, yo, ain't nobody fucking with the East Coast beach, Fort Lauderdale, Dade County. We got the best pop in this beach ever. Our shit is the best. And then you go to, Naples or whatever on the West Coast to the Gulf. And that's just kind of not hitting, it's kind of it's a little murky, water's flat as shit.
I mean, if you're over the
dolphins
age of 70,
are popping out, help me, it's. But it's a retirement area, so it is what it is. But like,
Yeah.
when you travel and you go to other places, like, you'll go to where like South Carolina, or you go to like New York. That shit is just like really nasty.
Yeah.
It's not okay.
Yeah. No one wants to go to Jones Beach.
You know, and everybody's pretty like comfortable with the fucking body that's floating by. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
my guy, like this, like somebody needs help. Well, actually, he doesn't need help. He just needs to be picked up and like taken somewhere. Like,
Yeah, he probably just needs some naloxone.
Some Narcan.
That's the one.
Fucking, I'm back. But yeah, so sports. I don't know, man. Like I said, no bubble, no sports.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, as far as what I think, you know, we want to focus on. We want to focus on perspective, especially moving forward with some of the content. I think people are going to, you know, have questions. Listeners, you know, please ask questions. Please give us your, you know, your perspective on, you know, what you feel is adequate. You know, what you feel is true to you, and how, you know, you grew up. How did you grow up? How did you grow up? Did you grow up with, you know, different, you know, countries being represented in your household? Did you grow up with different foods? Did you grow up with a friend that, you know, was the first person to ever kind of like shed light on you? You know, like growing up in Hollandale, Florida, South Florida is a melting pot. Most of us know that. But if you're not from South Florida, literally anywhere besides LA, New York, Atlanta, the major hubs, you know, Texas, some of the bigger cities, like, it's not the same. It is very different.
Very much so.
And especially us being down here in like the Caribbean, you know, we have all the islands, South America, you know, people from Central America. We have everybody from everywhere.
Yeah, and not a single one of them can drive.
And then not a lot of them have insurance either. So,
well, yeah, why bother?
That's a whole different conversation, like, that we're gonna have to have.
Yeah.
It's not okay, you know, because there are scammers out there. Listeners, there are scammers. Always be paying attention of your driving, your left and your right. Try to stay off your phone. I'm guilty of it. There's people that are like preying on your downfall. Like, you know, that's how they make a living, a lot of them. And somehow, like, because Florida's a no-fault state, they don't give a shit, bro. It's like,
right.
You know, they just have that PIP is primary and that 10K, and these insurance companies, it's a racket. The whole thing's a fucking racket. Personal injury, listen, I worked in it. It's just fucking atrocious. Like, it is such what's the best way to put this? If you want to be a shitty ass attorney and you don't give a shit about most attorneys don't give a shit about anything. That's harsh, but most attorneys,
they give a shit about money.
That's correct. But if you really don't have a desire to be in any particular, you know, realm of law, and you just want to make some money, you know, you want that shit to just keep rolling in. Personal injury, dog. Come to South Florida. There's not enough of them because these motherfuckers keep just quadrupling, you know, by the accident. So just come down, have a fucking grab a seat. Just wait your turn. You'll have a case in no fucking time. But yeah, I mean, all in all, we definitely want to bring perspective. We want to bring a lot of new conversations and stories that kind of reflect, you know, both of our feelings towards, you know, politics and current events and race relations. But a lot of it really just is very sincere. A lot of it is coming from a good place, you know. We've had a lot of time to kind of divulge into, you know, our innermost, deepest feelings, you know, and we care about each other, right, James?
We are very sensitive people.
Very sensitive people. And, you know, we only want to dive deeper.
Balls deep.
But no. So, Jay, what do you think, like, as far as like, since we've known each other, right? So, like, the better part of 4 years, 5 years, give or take. What are your feelings like? You know, how do you see our relationship? How do you feel like a lot of your worlds growing up in Cooper City, growing up in, is it Emerald Falls? What?
Embassy Lakes.
Embassy Lakes, right?
Well, yeah.
All the houses are big. It's a gated neighborhood.
It's, It's the like.
It's not all that great to people who grew up there. They're just like, it's whatever. It's got because
sure.
it's like casual shit when you grow up there, and that's your everyday. But
Yeah.
Government cheese to me was lit, so I was about that shit.
Right. Yeah. No. It's especially coming from Western New York too, because I think I had one Jewish friend before I moved to South Florida.
Oh, you hit the lottery on that one.
Yeah, moved into Cooper City, which...
You got Cuban Jews, you got them all down here.
All of them, absolutely.
They're all down here. Lovely people.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet, like, surprisingly few good, like, New York-style Jewish delis. I don't know what the hell the deal is here.
Like Cat's Deli.
Yeah, right?
So
like, what the
fire.
hell? Why can't I get a decent pastrami?
I mean, there's a few. There's a few near you, in Pompton, right there.
Yeah, but it's like you would think that based on the demographics of the area,
well, I can't.
It'd be like Starbucks, but evidently not.
I mean, I just feel like New York is. I'm sorry. I just feel like New York people, their food is better. Our food down here sucks. But then you have like every so often. Like, you could be Colombian, you could be Cuban. There's always a fucking solid place to go eat.
Oh, absolutely.
There's one.
At least one.
And if it's not, like, immaculate, it's not up to your standard, because obviously no one can beat mom's cooking or grandma's cooking or aunt's cooking. Like, there's always one within, like, a 30-minute radius.
Absolutely.
So.
And even better if, like, it's that kind of place that only makes that.
Yeah, I mean, when the motherfuckers are like legit Mexican, making Mexican food, that's like you.
Basically,
that's gold standard. That's
my yardstick for Mexican is if it has lengua on the menu, then it's
sopapilla.
Then it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Yeah, and not like that bullshit like Tex-Mex. Like like you want someone's foot like in your foot. Like
I wanted to put her ankles in.
Like just fucking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's the same way. Like, Korean food's the same way. Like, Korean food. Yeah. I've yet to take anybody. Like,
Korean barbecue is...
I've taken strangers. It's, like, trending as shit right now. But, like, I've taken people that are privy to Korean food, that have had it. But, like, oh, man, like, bro, well, that, like... I went with some people that, like, we didn't know what we were getting. Like, the menu was kind of, like, obscure, and, like, we were just, like, hey. And I'm like, well, what do you remember what you get? And they're like, yeah, man, like, everything was fire. I'm like, do you remember what you ate?
Because that's like, so helpful.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. That's what I remember. It wasn't bad. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to take you. We're going to eat, like,
details,
6 different meats. We're going to really compromise everything in our bodies and our health. We're going to take some shots of soju because it's tradition to, take some here and there, or the bottle. Live your best life.
Yeah.
And just do whatever you want, right? And the food is just so fire. Like, people are like, yo, but like, I don't really like. I'm like, dude, it's fine. It's not like I understand, like, Indian food is very spice heavy, and it's like, even the smell of it sometimes can deter you.
Curry is never going to
no offense. I fucking love Indian food, so please, guys, don't attack me. North, South Indian, I like the spicy shit. I'm all about it. Please point me in a direction. If you're listening, I need that shit always, because spice is like my jam. Like, that's my shit. Like, I love, and no, it doesn't wreck my booty hole like everyone swears it does. Like, I'm like, dude, like I
built up an immunity to
I typed this in like Facebook. I was like, oh yeah, the reason why you, white guy, is fucking your bland ass food. Like, the moment you put a pepper on anything, it's gonna fucking burn your body because it's never been exposed to it.
Because they think that mayo is spicy.
My shit is coated. I also like fucking take esomeprazole or omeprazole. I mean, it's shit. I have to, because I'm like the shit. It's like an acid reducer or a acid increaser. I don't know. Like, that shit is weird. The esophagus, all of that is weird.
It is.
Like, some people don't produce enough stomach acid. Some people have too much. That's why, like, some people burp and it's like, oh, shit kind of burns. Or like if you throw up, it kind of burns. I don't know. I'm not fucking but I just know what I have to take, so I'm not dying. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, race relations are really fucking crazy right now, and I think, like I said, the best thing that we can do, and the goal on the show is we got to talk. We got to really
talk
break
about it.
We got to break down shit, man. It's all fun in games. We got to really
until Donald Trump is president.
Until what?
Until Donald Trump is president, and then it's not fun in games anymore.
Yeah. The guy just. I wish the guy would just be like, all right, bro, it was a good run. Like, shit was fun, until next time. Like, I like, just like, peace out, bro. Like, I wish, I don't wish harm or death on him. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, I fucking hate him. I mean, like, I don't really hate him. I just think he's a dickhead. I think he's an asshole. I don't, I think he just doesn't. I think he doesn't like anybody that's not rich.
That's the one.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion, but everybody has their opinion. I'm very, being, multiracial, I'm very, like, pro-black. I'm very pro-Korean, too. But at the same time, I only ever knew about Korean history and anything because of my mother. I grew up here in the States, and a lot of my roots are heavily embedded in me because of my relationship with my mom. But my father is about 4 decades older than me. I think I did the math today. It was like 45 years. And so, I mean, he had me 45, and so it's one of those things where I feel like I got the best version. I'm my dad's last kid. I feel like I got the best version of him because of the fact that he was at his most wise state of mind and had the most knowledge up to that point in his life.
Yeah.
So most of my peers, you guys, your parents are a lot younger. Yeah. And you had that relationship. I didn't. I had to rely on my brother Donnie. And he's 6 years older than me. He is a lot darker than I am. He has African American hair, so his hair is nappy as fuck, if you know what that means. He's got African American coarse hair. Like, I got straight white boy hair, but it's a little wavy and thick and Asian. It's very Korean. But his dad is different than my dad, but we share the same mother. But my dad pretty much took Donnie in and brought him in and was his father. And, my dad, he did his best. He really did. He never knew his dad. And he did his best to kind of make everything work. And right now, he's trying his best, despite, COVID and everything, to stay relevant and present. At least in my life. I have other brothers, and they're probably going to hear this. And their entire relationship with my dad is different. I have 3 older brothers from my dad's first marriage when he was in his 20s. And they are in their 50s, I believe, or all in that early stage of 50s. And they all have children. And I think my oldest brother, Sean, I think he has a son that's older than me, but I'm somehow his uncle.
Yes.
Because of the way
you are the uncle works. Who is younger than him.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's not like super Game of Thrones, but it's really close. Like, it's like, I mean, it's teeter-tottering, but it's not like, it's not Jon Snow, like, banging out Daenerys, like, it's like, oh,
well, for dad, one, neither of you were that attractive. So.
It was like dad was fucking, and fucking for a while. So,
well, yeah, he had a baby-making career that was as long as Tom Brady's football career.
Well, I think my story is very unique because I do have the age, I have the age gap, which just gives you, like, I got my dad's like old school Vietnam. Like very disciplined, very workhorse mentality. You do something wrong, you're going to get punished, and you're going to know why you're being punished, and you're going to learn from it.
Better than not knowing why you're being punished.
I can't. He beat, I'm from the get your ass beat era, right? Yeah. So you got your butt handled, you know, like. And my dad was a big dude, so when he was overshadowing me and he was pulling out that 46-inch belt, I mean, that damn thing was coming out. It was coming out like
that's got to be like going up.
I'm like
a roller coaster, waiting.
You know, I know I'm just about to die, and the reach on the belt pull out was just never ending. Yeah, it was like a really bad loop in the time space continuum, and it's fucking scary. You know, it's scary. And now I'm a big guy, and I'm just like, oh man. So when I think about like my kids and like Lincoln or whoever, like if he's acting up or something, I'm just like, you know, I don't really like spanking my kids. I do like pat their hand if they're like not listening, because kids are obnoxious as fuck and they don't pay attention. So you have to like snap, like, hey, listen, cut that, stop it, shut it down, cut it off, stop, don't
put your thing down, flip it and reverse it.
It's all day, every day. That's all. Like, it's like parenting is literally yelling at your fucking kids 24/7, especially at this age, and then eventually they pick it up. Yeah, they learn. And then it's like, all right, well, damn, okay, all right, well, all right, you want a popsicle?
Don't do it next time.
You want a popsicle? All right, I'm gonna eat one too because Daddy's a fatty,
right? But
all right,
for the doctor.
But yeah, you know, kids are great. But you know, when you grow up the way that I did, you have like a odd sense of how you think. I get along so much better with. I've always gotten along with women, like especially like if I was like trying to like spit game or whatever. Like I always got along better with older women because I can just talk. Like it was effortless. It was effortless.
You're a big fan of The Graduate.
Man, I like him. I like him a little older. You know, I like,
right?
You know, we was all teenagers. We watched. Yeah. You know, we watched American Pie.
More interested in Stacy's mom.
We know about Stephanie's mom. Stephanie's mom was like, none of us really wanted to. Maybe we did want to get in like the entanglement, but
right.
It, you know, we are curious.
Better that entanglement than one with a pie. So
well, you know, but perspective is heavy. It's a heavy thing. I think a lot of people are just kind of like I said earlier, very set in their ways. They're very like in tuned with how life has been up to this point, the way things unfold in their life. It could be very mundane. It could be tragic. But people are accustomed to what is their reality, you know, and some people force themselves to go to church to be faithful and loyal to their belief and their faith, and they accept the teachings or they accept the study that's being presented or preached to them, and they continue to recirculate that study until they die. And that's pretty much what a lot of us do, whether it's religion, customary upbringing, whatever it is. And I think what my goal is to help people like eventually break out of the thought process of, well, it's this way because it's this way, or it's that way because of that way. And, you know, I've had more opening conversation with people, especially you, actually. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had some pretty like really like almost ugly cry, not quite. Alcohol will really shift the fucking gears on you, but
it will.
Yeah, like you have these moments, right, where you call it maybe getting older, getting wiser, being more honest with yourself. These are all things that I think, you know, we have to really take heed to and learn and listen and be patient. A lot of my friends, they literally tell me, and you're not the only one, but I have friends, they tell me like, John, you are, you know, you're someone that I really enjoy talking to. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, I don't be talking to just to talk. Like
right.
You know, especially like if I'm trying to like decompress or chill or whatever the occasion is. If it's like somebody coming over for a drink, you know, or a glass of bourbon or scotch or whatever, because only the finest things for these gentlemen.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just like, dude, and if like people don't understand, like if I'm bringing like if you're coming into my house, I don't like people to know I'm from the hood, like I'm from the streets. Like half of half of what people, no, it's not half. A lot of what people see now, like, I'm just not that, like, I don't even think my dad knew. I don't even think, like, my brother Donnie knew, but I don't think most people knew. Like, maybe my best friend Abe knew, but I was pretty, like, terror. I was like, I fought a lot. You fight a lot when you fucking live in the hood.
Sure.
And you have slanted eyes. Like, it's just gonna happen. Like,
well, or if you have, like, I bet the black kids saw you as Korean, and the Korean saw you as black. Like,
yeah, or I mean, yeah, that's a whole nother thing too, you know. But you know, when you have, okay, for instance, like when you have peers, like my cousins are black. Most of my cousins are like black, as in like darker than me. They're African American. They're black. Like I associate myself as African American and black.
So like on the 1 to Kevin Garnett scale, where do they fall?
They KG. They're KG. You know, they're out there. So I feel like that's my family. That's like and I've recently, you know, unfortunately, I had an uncle who passed, and he was the oldest. He was the patriarch of the family. And if you're black, you understand this concept: the patriarch and the matriarch, uncles and aunts. There's an elder after grandparents die, you know, and show all the cousins. There's always fucking 7,000 of them, and then those kids have kids, and a lot of them fucking kids have kids. So really, it's just a lot of goddamn people all the time, you know, and you learn very quickly that they don't play about their food. Mm-hmm. They don't play about their music. And that's pretty much it. They like to eat and drink, you know, and have a good time, you know, listen to good music and jam. And so that was how I identified myself growing up. That's the only thing I really knew outside of what my mother talked about. And so I feel like I have this ability because it is who I am. I am very capable of switching it, you know. A lot of people don't get it. Like, I can talk and I can talk and I can talk and talk. And as soon as if I'm sitting down at a bar and there's a black dude sitting there, I'm not going to abruptly say, "Hey, what up, dog? What's good? Hey, bro, you chilling? Yeah, man, me too, man. I'm just fine. I'm cool right now. Yeah, I'm just living, man. I'm just trying to get me a little drink." And
especially not in Davie, Florida.
I'm just trying to hang out, you know what I'm saying, and get a little sideways a little bit, hang out and get you know, just God is good, you know, and that's black people for you. Yeah. And not all of them are like that. I'm extra. I'm fucking me. I like to have a good time and be friendly to people, but I can switch.
Sure.
You know, when you grow up mixed, when you grow up black, you grow up Asian, you grow up anything in America that is not white, when your skin is, I don't care if you're like Hispanic and you look white, right? You're probably safe, all right, bro? Like
they're probably safer.
I'm not saying, because they get to, let's not talk about semantics here. Like, it's just, listen, you know, when you're just not white, everything is very different. It's very different. And so you become one of two things. You become either vulnerable by it, or you learn to, I guess, adapt, survive. You know, I call it, you know, a chameleon. I can, and it's not phony. It's not superficial.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really have a whole lot of other choice at that point, right? The other option would be don't survive.
Well, exactly. Some people don't admit that they quit, but some people will continue living a life that's like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Or like, whatever, like, you know, fuck them, you know, because they like, there's black dudes that are like, yo, fuck them crackers, and I'm pretty sure, never had the pleasure of hearing it live, but I'm pretty sure there's some hard R's thrown around in fucking white people's homes.
I'm pretty sure there are hard R's being thrown around in the bars that we hang out at when you're not in earshot. So,
well, this shit happens, and it's fucking terrible, man. Like, I have no problem putting my feelings down and pumping the brakes a little bit, because I do have kids now. I think about things a lot different than when I was younger. Because I was I'm telling you, man, I was an animal. I would take your fucking head and I'll smash it on the bar. Like that was kind of my MO. I didn't play being disrespected because I just was always ridiculed or teased or whatever and got my ass beat for just being me. So, why would I tolerate that after a certain period of time, and after getting my Jordans snatched off my feet or my Walkman stole or whatever, it happens. This is a reality, being racially profiled by cops. Like I have a lot of friends that are, see, that sounds like I'm a fucking nerd. I have a lot of friends, because I hang out at a bar where cops do detail, I've gotten to talk to quite a bit just from seeing their faces over, extended periods of time, probably because they hang out at bars too much. But
frankly, that almost sounds like the stereotypical white guy answer of, I have a lot of black friends.
Probably. I mean, it's not too different, except those black friends are an exception.
Right.
Because they're the okay black friend.
Well, and these are the okay cops.
Well, for the most part, yeah. And I think most cops are good cops. Most cops do. I think a lot of cops shouldn't be fucking cops. I think a lot of cops are. I think a lot of cops have never been punched in the face once, and they are like, I'm gonna wear a badge and a gun. And I'm like, can you even de-escalate a situation? Can you handle a situation if it turns physical? Probably not. And size, I get the size thing, which is why you should always have backup if you do go on call and you pull someone over and, whatever. My dad was a Monroe County sheriff for 10 years. He's a Key West native. My brother, Roderick, he works for BSO. So, like, and he's on the tail end of retirement. So I feel like I understand a lot of the mentality, but, I'm even across the board. At least I try to be. My intent, my heart, my vision for, the way that I want to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know this too, James, because you've seen me pretty fired up and or overwhelmed, with something that has happened, because it had things happen, especially when you're drinking. And, I feel like whether you're sober and you're pumping gas or paying for gas or you're in a grocery store, whatever, however the fuck the occasion happens, it doesn't matter. Like, you can only take so much. You can only take so much. And I think the issue now is people need to be more sensitive at the fact that we should be caring more about the people that are saying this, Oh,
absolutely.
Like,
probably starts with, everyone actually considering each other human beings. Like, when you have people who don't understand that saying all lives matter in response to someone saying Black Lives Matter, when those people don't understand why that's bad in the first place, like, honestly, I don't even know how to solve it. But
well, I don't think it's something that has to be solved as much as it is everybody has to take responsibility. Like,
and they have to listen.
And it's the people on both ends, right? Like, I can't be mad at you if you really feel like you can't help me.
Sure.
Like, yo, hey, I got like 17 snakes in my fucking house right now. Don't call me to fix that, because I am not.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I will pay you to fucking walk away from me right now, because I can't. I'm terrified. Like, that's not gonna happen. I'll pay you to pay someone else to.
Yeah.
But then the people that don't get it,
Yeah, man. Like, at least the conversation's happening. So.
Yeah, I think that's important. I mean, before you met me, how did you feel? Like, did you really have somebody to be open with you as far as, like, dialogue and content? Like, a lot of people post shit on social media, and I know you're not a big social media guy, but
yeah,
I've kind of always been. But I like your take on how you've seen me talk about it and handle it. Like, as far as a scale on something that you can't. Like, you didn't live the life I live, right? So how do you view how I handle things or my opinions on them. Like, be honest. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
this shit's not scripted. We're not, we don't have fucking notes or anything. Like,
no,
it's just.
if we had notes, we wouldn't be fucking rambling.
It's kind of the point of the podcast. We just want to stay.
Yeah, I mean, all one can really do is put things through the prism of their own experience, right? So, while we have lived like entirely different lives, I can look at something through my perspective, but as like if the only people I talk to are people who have had the same like upbringing as me.
That's the vibe I get when you speak. This shit is like,
Yeah.
what are you like? This shit is scary,
Right?
Like,
Well, it's just that like if you only have one perspective on something because you only have your own experience and then people who are of similar mind to you and people who grew up the same way as you, then you're only ever going to have that perspective, and that's all there is.
right.
That's why I think it's so incredibly important to talk and listen to people who have lived different lives, who have different perspective on things. And I don't even necessarily care about whether you agree with them on what they're saying or not. That's not what matters. What matters is getting to see that other perspective.
Right.
Getting to see that not everyone lives and grew up the same way you did and thus handles things the way that you did.
But I think it's sincerely doing that, right?
Yeah.
Because you have people that like, you know what I'm saying? Like I have friends I know, and I'm not going to say their names, but I have friends that are very conservative and to me, borderline racist. They'll tell you they're not. They'll look me in my face and shake my hand.
And they probably believe that they're not.
Right. But that's my point. I'm saying, as John Jackson, I'm saying that I want to help you, or I'm saying it in general, or you, listener, or whoever. I would love to talk to you and have the one-on-one and like figure out, okay, well, I'm not necessarily seeing it the way you see it, but I will agree and tell you that things got to get better. Yeah. And I don't know what the solution is, because they'll tell me their solution, and it's a very politicized answer. It's very, like, dog, that's not even remotely accurate.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a reason why you said that, because it's been systemically, like, manipulated and positioned for you to fucking give that answer.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something like you just, that's not the answer because that's legitimately why it is.
Right. Right. And especially with, like, the environment we are in, where one side is happy to say that any fact that doesn't line up with what they are saying is fake and made up. Like, that's problematic.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not people think so, their truth is still something that exists. It is real.
Right. Right.
And it's, yeah, like it certainly does not get better by everyone continuing to just stay in their like little echo chamber and only listen to the voices that already agree with them, because that's just a path to destruction. Like, that's literally how we ended up with everyone convinced that Hillary Clinton was going to trounce Donald Trump in the election.
That was just fucking atrocious. That still is so haunting.
Yeah.
We did it to ourselves. We
did indeed.
Democrats, liberals. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like that's a part of life. That's a part of living and learning. And we really are not in a better place now.
We can be, as long as we actually learn. The problem is like going through it and then not learning. Sure.
And there's just a lack of effort from both parties, from both sides. I will never be able to like wholeheartedly agree with a lot of the things, that Trump does, but at the same time, he's just doing him. He's just living.
He sure is.
Like, it's not a personal vendetta to other people as much as it turns out to feel that way, and I'm not negligent at the fact that that's the reality.
It is.
A a lot of black people, that I speak to, that I know, they are very dead set and hurt on the fact that this is all, I mean, when he did that Tulsa rally on Juneteenth, I was like, this motherfucker, like, he did that shit on purpose.
Oh, it was absolutely on purpose.
That was not even.
It was definitely on purpose.
Like, that's not even in his repertoire to coincidentally do that. Like,
to be honest, though, I almost think it was a good thing, because there are a lot of people who had never even heard of the Tulsa Massacre, or who didn't know what Juneteenth was. And there are a lot of people who became educated on it because the Trump campaign chose like that to send the message.
And what's really crazy is there's so many more stories.
Yeah.
There's like, I mean, we can have episodes just talking about the number of different ones. It's like Black History, I've heard it growing up. Oh, you guys get a whole month. What more do you want?
Right.
I'm like,
whatever.
That's fucking fucked up to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, people get mad. Like, oh, y'all got a BET channel. Like, y'all got all 900 other motherfucking channels. Like,
right.
It's not like, can we have something? Like, it's not like, but like the whole, and even that, I don't even give a shit. But it's more, for me, it's more about just like the personal growth and development of one's mentality. Because what I can situationally try to work and help and instruct, I think it's the individual person. It's the one person. So the listening, is very crucial. My dad was always big on saying, yo, you have one mouth and two ears for a reason. Like, you're supposed to do a lot more listening, than talking. And so, and I'm a fucking talker. Like, that's what I do. I talk. A little bit. I talk because it is something that I think has been instilled in me from my mother. She was very big at never going to bed angry, always trying to make sure that you knew, everything that you should know and learn before bed. She was always big on talking to me, and I think that kind of instilled this desire to be teachable and also share with people my heart, because a lot of us do care. A lot of us do have feelings. A lot of us do want to, like I said, bridge the gap. Mm-hmm. I think it's a matter of not feeling completely overwhelmed, not feeling embarrassed. There's so many different factors. But that's the goal. That's what we're going to try and do. That's pretty much it for episode 1 for now. Definitely excited. Definitely excited to keep going and start listening to some of the listeners, and maybe some questions or topics that they want us to talk about. The majority of this is really like, we're going to be talking about current events. We're going to talk about politics, things that happen in sports, things that happen in the hip hop world. We really didn't touch on any of that, but that's okay. Hip hop is in my blood. If you know me, shout out to Big Crit. I'm the biggest Big Crit fan. If you're listening, you don't know who Big Crit is, and you swear you think you like hip hop, or you like hip hop, then you take Big Crit, K-R-I-T, King Remembered in Time. You take that discography and you just like bless your ears and your soul, because it's food for the soul. He's a brother that is very gifted and woke, not in the bullshit kind of way, but in the real honest, vulnerable way. And
now all of you know just how much John likes Big Crit.
You kiss my ass, because Big Crit is the shit. And so thank you for listening. We are Big Kunta and Headhunter James.
Yep.
And we're bringing you the raw, gritty, nitty, titty. Not everybody's going to want to listen to it, but that's okay, because there's motherfuckers who will, and they're going to rock with us, and we're going to grow, and we're going to learn, and we're going to get better, and we are going to bring some change, especially if we could change the minds and hearts of a few people. Man, that is goal achieved. Goal achieved. You know what I'm saying? And I think I think this is a really good platform because, you know, a lot of my friends who know me, you guys know what the fuck I'm about. You guys know we talk, we have our discussions in real life, and I want people to kind of, who don't know me, listeners, new listeners from wherever, I want people to kind of engage, you know, your peers and talk about some of this shit. Like, make them listen to it, or
It's important.
take notes, and, you know, anything that may have triggered your thought process or your mental, write that shit down. Talking to your friends, talking to your neighbors, talking to your family. That's the only way you are going to get anywhere, because this shit starts at home. It starts within yourself. I finally, a few years ago at 30, I'm like, this is my time to start fresh and not bullshit myself, you know, because I'm not saying I'm going to be perfect from here on out, but I'm saying, like, we all have to make a choice to be better. And I made a conscious decision that took, for the better part, a decade. My 20s was wild. There was so much shit that happened. There's things that happened in my 20s that a lot of you that are listening now probably have no idea about, because it's personal, you know, and it was very challenging and very hard. And that's why I say talk, you know,
Yeah.
get to know people better, more personally, ask questions, figure shit out together, build and build and build. Don't separate and tear down. And that was not a metaphor for these Confederate statues. Those motherfuckers need to come down.
No, they need to go.
Those motherfuckers need
Yeah.
to go down.
Yeah.
Like, pull that. We seen Saddam get pulled down. That shit just needs to just, like, fucking, let's go. But anyway, wrapping this shit up. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to be back soon. This is episode 1, back for the first time. We are going to be better. I know it was like a lot of rambling and shit, but if you stuck with us, I appreciate you. I love you. Please get back to me. Comment, like, subscribe on the YouTube page. We're on Instagram at Grip the Grain FL. We're on Facebook as the same thing, Grip the Grain FL. Please, please, please help us build this shit together. Rock with us.
Yeah.
We love you very much. And
if there's anything in particular you think we should talk about, just let us know.
Absolutely. And until next time, we are out this bitch.